Hey, everybody. Welcome into Day by Day. James here, back with Alex. Alex is going to be joining us full time. But the first episode after I said, hey, do you want to just come on? Mike and Andrew are like, we're not going to be on.
Is that a sign of things to come?
I don't know. But what we're going to do here in this episode is we're going to talk the 2025 season, record predictions, offensive, defensive MVP. We might get into some CFP discussion and predictions. So that's what we're going to do. What I do know is, since Mike and Andrew aren't here to give their predictions, I wanted to make sure I do this first so I don't forget. This is a quote from Mike about what he thinks the season will bring for Nebraska football. He said, we will be undefeated in SEC play, 16 wins.
16
if you're listening and you don't know what that is in reference to, I'm assuming you saw that.
Yeah, I saw the screenshot. That was Greg McElroy, correct?
I think is Greg. I don't know his first name. McElroy, former Alabama quarterback. He's like a commentator now on ESPN. Yeah. And so he was talking about Nebraska. I don't think he thinks Nebraska's in the SEC, but the graphic said something like
SEC dark horse, Nebraska.
SEC dark horse, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Like, in what world is Nebraska in the SEC, the Southeastern Conference? So,
plot twist: we're changing conferences, and
we are realignment again. So that's what Mike thinks. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, so we'll get into all of our predictions. First, as always, just want to let everybody know that we are a part of characterchronicles.com. That's where you can find the podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Give us a like, subscribe to the show, leave a comment. All those things help more people find us. I'm assuming more and more people will start watching the show as we get back into football season. And so if you're one of those people, we are glad that you have tuned in. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. I want to know your record prediction. Maybe we can go game by game and do this for Nebraska. All right. So let's just go game by game. We'll get into Cincinnati next week, and hopefully we have all four of us here. So I don't want to talk specifically what you think about Cincinnati, but just big picture. What are your thoughts? Win or loss? First game of the year.
I think that's a win. And I think we talked about it last week too. I think we were all in pretty good agreement that should, or could, I don't want to say should, could very easily be a 3-score game. Like,
I agree. Did you see the comments from the Cincinnati coach? I don't know if it was yesterday or today. He just seemed kind of frustrated about practice, and it's sloppy and a lot of penalties. Did you see that interview?
I did not see the interview. I've read some of the quotes.
He said, I'm glad it's not game week.
Yeah. They're not really brothers, but it was very Satterfield-esque is the best way to put it.
That's good. To me, it sounded like a coach who was just like legitimately frustrated and didn't know what to say. I don't think it was gamesmanship. I don't think it was like, oh, I hope Nebraska lets their guard down. No, Cincinnati was a bad football team last year, and they lost the last 5 games of the year.
Yeah, I think that's more bulletin board material for your own locker room.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say things out of pocket to light a fire under some guys.
Agree.
And I think there's some guys that he just feels like are not performing to the standard that they should.
Yep. Agree. Okay, so we both think that's a win. All right, Akron, I'm assuming Akron and Houston Christian, you have us winning those games.
Yeah. I mean, with the Houston Christian, big test there in Lincoln.
Yep. Probably a no line on that game.
Yeah.
40, 42, 45 points we had talked about. Could the fan base survive if those games were not blowouts where, our second or third string quarterback isn't in the game by the middle of the third quarter?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
And
Do you
here's
think
why.
our fan base is resilient? I'm going to tell you,
No, no,
you
no,
think
no,
we're
no. I'm going a different route with this
okay.
here. I don't know if you remember, but last year after UTEP and UNI,
Mm-hmm.
I was beating the alarm bell. I was hammering it. These are games that were not, and even Colorado, like
Sure.
we're doing nothing with the ball in the second half, and it's unacceptable. And I was told that I was wrong.
I probably was the person who told you you were wrong.
I imagine that's how these would look. Same thing. Like you win comfortably, but not as comfortably as you should.
Now,
And
do you think that, or you're saying that's what you think will happen?
no, but I'm that's how I would picture the fan base playing it out.
Yeah. I think Dana Holgerson is going to be a lot more aggressive.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, other apart, I think it was up until Purdue, we had not scored more than 10 points in the second half of a single game against a
Pretty
Power 5
pathetic.
team.
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
And I don't think they had scored at all in the second half, except for Illinois leading into that Purdue game. And that's where I was really sounding the alarm bells. I was not happy with the second half against UTEP, but I was willing to eat that a little bit.
Sure.
But
first game, yeah.
Colorado, Illinois, like teams made adjustments and we did not.
Yeah. It's just building that killer instinct, which this team hasn't had for, Lord knows how many seasons. So
yeah,
stepping on the gas when you have the chance. I get the fourth quarter. I get like, okay, it's 42-3. Bring in your third and fourth stringers. They're probably not going to score. And at that point, I'm still a fan of, you don't have to rub it in. Like, you don't have to prove a point. But that third quarter, man, that's when I think, can you have success when you've had success? And I think, can Nebraska do that against those two teams? So that's a micro level. And I think that will translate to a macro level.
Yeah.
If you go 4, 5, 6-0, you have success. Can you have success on top of that and build on it? They haven't been able to do it.
It's the difference between a stiff arm to keep them at arm's length versus a stiff arm to pull away.
Yeah. It's good analogy. Okay, so we're 3-0 going into Michigan on September 20th. Be a great game to watch on television because it's going to be on CBS. That'll be Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, the college football voices I have in my head since I was a child. So it's going to be awesome. Do you think we can beat Michigan? Do you think we will?
I think we can. That is one of the games that I have us losing.
Okay.
Now I say that to also say I would absolutely not like. There's a lot of reasons to think that we will win this game and probably should.
Yeah.
I think based off the way the program has been for the last 20 years, this is your first real test. Still relatively new put together team. I don't think they'll have everything figured out yet. I just think that's one that they drop close.
Yep. I think it is a toss-up. I'm really interested to see what Michigan's offense is going to be like. And we talked about that when we did the episode on spreads a few weeks back. I'm still not convinced Bryce Underwood is going to be, God's gift to the earth. Their defense is going to be solid. It was last year. Kept Ohio State to whatever it was, 13 points, 12 points. But if I had to give a prediction right now, which I am, I would say I'm going to chalk it up as a loss for the same reasons you gave. But 3 weeks in, after seeing Michigan play 3 games, I might change my opinion.
100%.
Seeing Nebraska. I mean, if Nebraska beats Houston Christian, let's say 35-14, I'm going to be a little nervous.
Yeah.
Going into Michigan. So
That's
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they play the other Michigan the next week, Michigan State, at home. Win or loss?
I have that as a win. I feel really good about that game.
Yep, me too. I like that it's at home. Weird things happen, good or bad, actually, when we play at Michigan State. You look at the games we've played in East Lansing, and there's been something's gone on, but
I mean,
I
remember that one where, DeMornay Pearsonell returns the punt.
Oh yeah.
And you have a shot at the end, and Alonzo Moore probably gets interfered with, but it still hits him in the numbers in a very small window. Then you have obviously the Scott Frost punt game.
It's always a punt.
Where, yeah.
Punt
no, I think that's a win. I will say this. I like Michigan State's coaching staff. I listened to one of their beat writers on the radio the other day. They just, everything I'm hearing about, they don't know what they want to be offensively entirely yet.
Sure.
And I think coming into Lincoln, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. I mean, again, context is everything. When these games fall, if it's coming after Michigan, if Nebraska loses, they could be really angry. If Nebraska wins, maybe they're flying high, maybe they're flying too high. So all those things go into it. But when it's all said and done, I think they'll win. Okay, the first road game, October 11th, at Maryland, mighty Maryland, or mini Maryland. I think we both have them winning that game.
Yeah, I do, and I think this is quintessential of what Maryland has done the last few years, where they'll start off hot, and then right about here is where the wheels fall off.
Yeah, I was seeing something earlier that, somebody picked Maryland to not win a conference game. I have to find that. If anybody who's listening knows and you want to comment, please do. But it was not good for the Terrapins. Yeah. So
I think
Nebraska
going to struggle.
Yeah. Okay. The fateful Friday night game, October 17th at Minnesota. Nationally televised game by Fox on Fox. What do you think about Minnesota?
I like that as a win. I could be wrong here, but I feel like Nebraska, if it's not an opener on a Friday night, has fared pretty well in conference play.
Sure. I mean, did they play Illinois last year on Friday night at home? They did. So they did lose that game.
I thought that was a Saturday night game.
No, because they canceled classes for the day.
Okay. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But they had won one previously against them.
Yeah, and yes,
and
they
Rutgers.
did. And Rutgers. I before the season or this summer, I think I told you guys, I feel like that's going to be a loss. But I'm changing my tune a little bit. I think Minnesota is really going to struggle. I don't think they have their identity on offense. I don't think they have they don't have an experienced quarterback. I don't think they have a great proven running back, which they've seemed like they've had for the last 10 years. So I don't know if PJ Fleck has all of the pieces that he typically has to kind of trip himself into 8 or 9, 10 wins. I think Nebraska will overwhelm them. I think by this time, Nebraska's offense is going to be humming, and I think Nebraska will just overwhelm them. I do want to remind me to talk about this when we get through the season predictions. I really think this season kind of stands or falls on what Nebraska does on offense. I know the defense is important, but I am in favor of, if you can score more points consistently, score more points than the other, just outscore them. If you can score, you always have a shot.
Yeah. And what was the stat last year? Like Matt Rule was like 2-7 in games that he gave up more than 17 points and undefeated and less than during his 2 years in Nebraska. Like, you have to be able to average 20 plus in this conference to have a shot. You really do.
Agree. So I think they'll win as well. So that's let's see, what do we got? 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. Okay. So they're bowl eligible by October
Very early.
17th. Next game home against Northwestern.
I have that as a win.
A win. I don't think Northwestern's going to, I shouldn't say this.
Talking
publicly.
about Maryland struggling, but
Northwestern's getting to the point where, if the big academically, right, Northwestern is the cream of the crop in this conference, but athletically, football wise, I know they're building a little high school stadium for themselves, but you're just like, how long can you sustain just kind of being, you're worse than Vanderbilt.
yeah, obviously you had to move on from Fitzgerald with all of that stuff, but you haven't been able to reclaim any of the magic that he had.
No.
And people forget, like, what was it, 6 years ago? People were talking about him going to the NFL to coach.
Yep.
Like,
they played. Didn't they play in
his faults?
Did they play in a Big Ten title game?
They might have once. I don't think they did, but it would not surprise me if they snuck in one year. I
think magic is a great word. Like, that's what he had. He just had this magical aura about him to make a game something that it shouldn't have been, and figure out how to. And it wasn't just against Nebraska. It was like you could figure out how to beat other teams you had no business of beating, and before you know it, man, you got 8 or 9 wins at Northwestern.
Regularly. And there was years where he was awful in the non-con, and then they still came out and won 7 games.
Yep. Yeah. But not this year. Not this year. Okay. All right.
Maybe never again.
Okay. So now Nebraska's 7-1. Everybody is happy. Everybody's talking about the college football playoff, maybe even a Big Ten title game appearance. But the final 4 games will define their season, in my opinion. Not Michigan, not Cincinnati. It's the final 4 games. It's USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa. Probably, for my money's worth, the 4 toughest games. I'm going to go on a little soapbox here. Michigan, I think, can be good. Maybe they're worthy of the 14th, being the 14th ranked team. But the thing, so USC to me is a little bit of a mystery, and offensively, they're just kind of a, they're just a lightning bolt waiting to happen. And then you have to go all the way out to the West Coast, and then all the way out to the East Coast and play Penn State the next week. And then in Iowa, it's a rivalry game, Black Friday, anything can happen. And so I think these 4 games will define their season.
I agree. I'm just going to rattle off all 4 here for you.
Go ahead.
I think you go win, loss, win.
I think they lose at
UCLA. Yeah, I think the travel to UCLA throws them, especially coming off an emotional win in Lincoln. Yeah. And Penn State's just going to be really good.
They are. I think they're going to be the best team in the country.
I'd say top 4. And I know he's good. I'm just not sold on Drew Allard at quarterback. I'm really not. Drew Allard.
You're not. Okay, I'm going to say win. Well, loss, win, loss, win. So I think they beat USC at home. Lose to USC at home. Lose at home, just because I think USC is better than UCLA, and I think they go out to UCLA and win. I don't think they're going to beat Penn State. I hope the game's competitive, but you're playing on November 22nd in Happy Valley. It's probably going to be a blizzard. Keep it close. Give yourself a shot to win, but I don't think they will. And then you'll probably come back here, play at Thanksgiving. It'll be 57 degrees and sunny. against Iowa. And I think you're gonna they have a better team than Iowa. This should be the year they win, and it shouldn't be particularly close. And by that I just mean maybe it's 10, 13 points.
Yeah,
please,
it shouldn't be
for the love,
point game.
Do not let it come down to a field goal. So, okay, so both of us have Nebraska at 9-3.
Yeah,
9-3, which I think would be an overwhelmingly successful season.
For sure.
Now here's a question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think some people are going to listen to this and they're going to get in their feelings about Matt Rule year 3, consistently winning double-digit games, blah, 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 blah. Matt Rule has never done it in the Big Ten.
No.
Like, it's different. It is different.
Yep.
And also, like, despite the problems that he inherited at Baylor, he still took over a team that had recently won a lot of games too.
Sure.
So it's just different. And 9 wins in the Big Ten, like going 9-3 in the Big Ten.
That's worth 11 or 12 in the Big 12.
Yeah, even with a more friendly schedule, like we don't have the hardest schedule in the conference this year.
No.
It still carries a lot more weight than going 10 wins in the Big 12, in my opinion.
Agree. I was a little surprised at somebody like Josh Pate, who's like, hey, I'm putting Nebraska in the playoff. I think Brandon Walker, I think he's with Barstool. I don't follow him closely, but I saw, okay, he's got Nebraska in the playoff. And I'm like, I know that, again, you are in the entertainment business. I still don't believe you all are in the truth business. You want Nebraska fans to click on your stuff. I get that. I just can't get on board with making the leap from 7-5 to playoff. Now next year, right? Like next year, okay, if you go 9-3 this year, watch out. You got all the momentum in the world, especially if you win a bowl game, you could get to 10 wins. I had somebody this week tell me on Twitter, like they think if Nebraska goes 9-3 in the Big Ten, that's playoff material. But I'm like, not with our schedule, right?
I mean, I think it kind of, you talked about like not running up the score on people. I think in games where you have the opportunity to run up the score, if you run up the score and build those style points, you might get that at large bid at 9-3.
That was Indiana's, that was their kind of MO last year.
Yeah. For me, it would come down to the losses and how you lost.
Who were the losses to? How did you lose? I agree.
Yeah.
Other than Penn State, I think they have the potential to beat anyone on their schedule.
Yeah, and talking about that game being in a blizzard
might help them.
Might help. I don't know if we'd necessarily have the guys to line up and go power I in a blizzard like Penn State can probably do against us, but Dana's pulled out some pretty interesting stuff in his career to make things interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like Penn State is obviously the game I'm least confident in, and that's just because they've been so solid for so long. But for all the years that we've talked about a bad bounce here, a bad bounce there is the difference in the game. The law of averages says eventually you're going to start getting some of those. And what if you get 3 of those in the same game? Like anything can happen.
It's got to happen eventually, right?
Yeah.
Why not this year? We've been saying
I'll settle for 2 right bounces the whole year, but
if they happen at the right time, changes your season.
Yeah.
Right. There's some games I think we can acknowledge you don't need those good bounces at fortuitous times, right? Northwestern, Maryland, Houston, Christian, Akron. Like you can literally out talent those teams. And as long as you don't have one of those Bo Pelini, 9 turnovers they had against Iowa State that one year, they lost, or 6 turnovers. They lost like 9-6. It was a weird game. Like don't do that. By the way, I watched, what did I watch? So I watched last night. I don't know. I got a wild hair and I watched the 97 Nebraska Missouri game, the flea kicker game. I forgot how many turnovers Nebraska had.
Yeah, they played bad.
Cow. Oh my gosh. I mean, they score 45 points, but they're throwing picks, fumbling all over the place. Just don't do that, which I think Holgerson is going to emphasize taking care of the ball, making the simple plays. So that brings me back to what I was asking about earlier. I think the season will depend on offense. For those of you who don't know, early on in Alex and my relationship, one of my favorite things to do was just kind of poke him at how much he loved to talk about slants. And so whenever a slant, like a route. So whenever I would see a clip or a highlight of somebody running a slant, I would probably tag you and be like, look at this. Why can't Nebraska do this? Well, we're going to do that a lot, but I'm curious what you think as somebody who has an affinity for offense, how far the offense can really go. And it doesn't all revolve around Dylan, but how good of a season can he actually have? First full year with a new offensive coordinator, some pieces that you haven't played with for more than a year, more than a spring. How far can the offense really go? Can it go win some games for them? Can it go 80 yards in a minute? Yeah. Can they score 45 points if the defense gives up 38? What do you think?
So hold on one second. I'm going to answer this. All right. So I think this offense could be really, really good. We kind of talked about this when we were the week that we did the projective lines.
Yeah.
And I felt really good. I need to go back one more year. I felt really good about what this offense can do. I feel really good about what this team can do as a whole because I just think for the first time in a long time, you're not playing with 1.5 hands tied behind your backs.
And that's what it's been.
Like
100%.
We talk about lucky bounces. Well, those lucky bounces hurt more because we've been awful at special teams, and in the nicest form, and not the truth. The nicest form is wildly inconsistent on offense.
Yep.
Whereas now you'll have a competent offense. Like I'm not going to say like super explosive yet because I'm not entirely sure. Like as accomplished as Dana is, I think Dana's also trying to reinvent himself a little bit. So I don't know. He knows exactly what he wants to be or what this is going to be. But Dylan's obviously a huge key to that. I wish I could find this, but anyways, my prediction for what the offense looks like, it'll be a little bit more balanced, but I think it's going to look like that 2011 Oklahoma State team with Brandon Weeden.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Kendall Hunter.
And
I mean, Weeden threw for 4,000 yards. Hunter ran for 1,500.
Yeah, Hunter ran for 1,500.
They were incredible.
And your receiver of the year was Justin Blackman. Had 1,500 yards receiving. Now, I think in the passing game, it's going to be much more balanced. I don't think He's going to go out and have 1,500 yards. I think it's going to be more balanced. It's going to be more vertical than we've seen, but efficiently. Like last year, we were throwing vertically, but we were really just throwing to try and get pass interference.
So we're going to have receivers who can get separation. I think you're going to see them complete those passes more. To your point about explosive plays, like, you think like if you get, in a typical Big Ten game, I'd have to look at the stats. What are you getting the ball? Anywhere from, I was going to say 10 to 14 times, kind of depending on the pace of the game. Can you score 4 times?
Can
That's
you
all
put
I
it in the
want.
end zone 4 times?
Yeah, can you score 4 touchdowns? That's all I'm asking for. There's going to be some games special teams will score. There's going to be some games defense. That happened in the last 2 years with actually poor special teams. We scored a couple of touchdowns because of blocks and whatnot, and defense interceptions in return for a touchdown. So can you get 4 touchdowns on offense? If you average 4 touchdowns on offense, you're going to win some games. You're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I expect both with the schedule, but what this offense will do. I think you're going to actually get more possessions this year. I think you're probably going to be right around the 16, 17 range.
Be awesome.
Because you're not going to have as many.
You're not plodding along. Yep.
You're going to get first downs. With that means even when you don't score, hopefully you're flipping the field and pinning them deep, and defense is going to be solid.
Getting the ball back. Yep.
I don't think we're going to play a ton of teams that are explosive in the passing game, which is good because my fear on this team, the secondary spot that I feel the worst about is secondary. So no, to your point, this team's going to go as far as the offense will take them, whether that is just putting the ball in the end zone or just moving the ball down the field a little bit more effectively than they have.
Yep. I'm really
now, as far as Dylan, I think Dylan's a huge piece of it, but the key on offense is receiver play. Like, how many times have we had a guy over the last? I can think over the last 5 years of critical drops on third down. Critical drops.
That drop by Nair in the Iowa game still haunts me.
Nair,
Alex, I still wake up thinking about if he catches that pass.
It's over.
It's over, and you're looking at, well, now with a bowl game win, Nebraska actually has 8 wins, which feels even better. So it's the little things like that. When you could look at the whole season and you're like, okay, this happened, Nebraska ended up 6-6, but you're like, but that one data point, that data point in the Illinois game where the ball was ripped out of his hands, right? Changes the game.
What about Ohio State? We had 2 drops on our last drive.
Ohio State, you are 4 drops from winning 9 games. like that's not an insignificant thing. So I do hope receivers can hold on to the ball. I trust the receivers to be in the right spot because they're coaches. Can they catch the ball when they're in the right spot?
So here's what I'm truthfully looking most forward to on offense. I feel like for the first time in a very long time, we're going to throw to a guy and give him the opportunity to make a play after the catch, other than like a bubble screen. Yep. Those slants, those mesh, those types of routes.
Yep.
And get it to a guy like Jakari Barney, who's really explosive.
Yep.
You're going to see them use all 3 levels of the field in the passing game, short, intermediate, and long. You're going to have a simple, but at the same time complex route tree. You're going to stress defenses with your route tree for the first time in a long time. And if Dylan can put it in the right spot, he's really good at that intermediate, feathering it over the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
But last year when he was hitting that, he was setting the guy up to basically just drop because he was going to get lit up. Yeah. You can get it in there, count earlier, where he can make a move.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our explosion's going to come. It's not just going to be on go routes.
Agree. And I was thinking the other day, for all of the trolls and the haters out there who think Raiola is what he is, I think there's some people who legitimately think, oh, you're a 5-star quarterback, so you're at your ceiling. What you did in your true freshman year, that is what you are. And I'm like, were any of us, athlete or not, is that what we were? Our true freshman year in college, it defined us. It would be absolutely mind-boggling to me if he didn't take a few steps forward and grow. He's still only a sophomore, but I just think you're going to see somebody who's now had a full season. A game happens so fast. I don't care if you're a 5-star quarterback. The game happens so fast when you're 18 and 19 years old. You're experiencing that environment for the first time. Obviously, there was all kinds of conversation about his body size and his weight. He's kind of coming into himself. He's grown into his frame. I'm like, he's going to take strides. He's going to be better. I think the interceptions are going to be way down. Part of that will be better receivers who can get open, hold on to the ball, all that kind of stuff. So, no, I'm excited. And I do think having a year with Holgerson is going to be huge. I do. I think, I think John Butler, I think having a former NFL secondary coach on the team, and I know he and Raiola have bonded a little bit. I think that's going to be incredible for Dylan.
Yeah, I don't think for outside of Nebraska fans, and even a good portion of Nebraska fans, I don't think enough people really have taken a step back to recognize the situation that he was put in last year. Like, he was truthfully set up for failure with that offense. The offense didn't know what it wanted to be. And
nope.
You had guys, guys ran lazy routes. They didn't block when they were supposed to block at a wide receiver. Like, it was set up for failure. And the fact that he played as well as he did was
pretty incredible.
Pretty admirable.
And think about this. The first true freshman quarterback to start every game in Nebraska football history. Nobody else has done that. Had a pretty decent season.
Because Adrian Martinez got hurt, right? Like,
He did. Okay, really quick. I just want to know your offensive MVP, your defensive MVP. I'll give you mine first. I think I want to say Dylan is the MVP. I feel like that's a little bit cheating. So I am going to say it's Dane Key, and maybe you'd go there too. But I just think having somebody who can be a consistent threat in the receiving game and can elevate everybody else in that room is going to be huge. And then defensive MVP, I'm going to say it's Vincent Shavers.
Ooh, okay. I like both of those.
I know Mike would say Riley Van Poppel because he's the center of the line, just anchors that defensive line. But your linebackers they're going to be leading the team in tackles. They're run stoppers, they're blitzers. They're also picking up tight ends and running backs in coverage. And he's just a guy that has energy for days, and he hits hard. He brings great energy to the defense. So I'm going to say Shavers.
Yeah. Offensively, I'm going to go to the receiver position, but it's not going to be Dane Key. It's going to be Ja'Cory Barney.
Yep.
And I think that's just because, A, he's going to impact special teams, but B, Dana is going to find a way to make this guy a true threat outside of the jet sweep.
Yeah.
He's going to legitimately utilize him in a variety of roles. So that's my offensive. I'm going to go linebacker, but I'm going to go Javin Wright on defense.
Nice. I thought about him.
If he can stay healthy, man, he has a body type that you cannot recreate in a lab. He hits hard. I remember, like, my first show, he came on halfway through with Chancellor Brewington, and they were arguing about who hit harder. So
what'd they say?
I think Javin Wright. They did not come to a consensus.
Oh, okay.
We were going to try and live stream an Oklahoma drill between the two of them.
That's funny.
If Javin can stay healthy, man, he's fast. He can run and cover. Like, he's not somebody that you have to take out for different schemes. Like, he can play everything on this defense in that linebacker spot.
I love it. Okay, who do you got winning the Big Ten?
Penn State.
Penn State. Me too. All right, let's talk a little college football playoff. We just got a few minutes left here. I spent way too much time today thinking through this, thinking we'd probably have more time in this episode, but it took us a while to get through the Husker season. So can I give you, I went and seeded the teams 1 through 12. And then I filled out a whole bracket. I almost had my kids fill out a whole bracket. They would have been like, what are you talking? It's, football season hasn't even started. I'm like, I'm excited. Let's talk about the playoffs. So I don't have Nebraska, obviously, in my bracket. But I want to give you my top 12, my 12. So I kind of tipped my hand earlier when I said I think Penn State will be one of the best teams in the country. I don't think it's because Drew Aller. I think it's because of everything around Drew Aller. And I'm gonna if he can not make passes like he made in the semifinal last year, right? If he can limit those kind of dumb mistakes, I think Penn State's going to be fine. So I actually have them as the number 1 seed. And then I kind of flip flop SEC Big Ten. I go Alabama 2, Ohio State 3. I still believe in Ohio State because they're Ohio State. I have no reason to doubt. I have no reason to doubt them. And then Georgia top. There's my 4. And then 5 through 8, I have Texas, Oregon, Notre Dame, Clemson. And then here's where it gets weird. Are you ready for this? I don't think it's too weird so far. I mean, you could just argue with the seedings. Part of me was like, how do you even know? Like, how do these talking heads even know? Change a game here and there. So, okay, there's my top 8. But number 9, and this is mostly because of their schedule. I looked at their schedule and I'm like, this team might go undefeated. Missouri at number 9. You look at their schedule.
Winning the SEC too.
I mean, they could. I'm accounting for Alabama, Georgia, and Texas to somehow maybe all be 1-loss teams, and Missouri is also a 1-loss or 2-loss team. Maybe they stubbed their toe, but this is purely because of the schedule. And I thought if Missouri doesn't have 10 or 11 wins, something's wrong. And then number 10, I think the winners of the Big 12 will be Kansas State because of their schedule. I think they have the easiest schedule in the Big 12.
You don't think Arizona State runs it back?
No, I am purely thinking of last year. The committee made it pretty clear to me what they value. And they just value you winning games. That's why SMU got in. That's why Indiana got in. They won games. So if Kansas State, who I also think looking at their schedule, could run the table, I think they'll be in. And then I have another ACC team. I think Miami has a shot at 11. And then I think Boise State will also come in at number 12, but they'll be appropriately seated this year at number 12. So that's what I got. Okay, what do you hate about this? Give me your pushback. Tell me why this is stupid.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of problems with it, honestly. My only pushback is Mizzou. Big 12 is just going to be so hard to judge. I think K-State's a safe pick. Arizona State not having Scattaboo anymore does hurt my image of them. But towards the top, I think Texas is the 2 seed.
Sure.
And that's really it.
I could see that.
I think Texas wins the SEC. I think it's Texas and Penn State or Texas and Ohio State playing for the title.
I love it. I would love it if it were Penn State and Ohio State. I have them as a 1 and a 3 seed, so it's possible. That would be so much fun just to rub it in the SEC's face one more time.
Oh my God.
Interesting thing about the Big 12. Kansas State and Arizona State do not play each other this year.
That's the conference title game, right?
It's going to have to be the conference title game. I think they're the 2 best teams. And I like Kansas State. I don't know. Again, I'm with you on, I think Scattaboo brought so much to Arizona State that you can't just bottle up and repackage and say, oh, we got it this year.
Yeah, and I mean,
may-
I like their quarterback. I really do.
sure.
But that's not enough, and that was proven last year.
Yep. Agree. Okay. If you had to pick a national champion today, who are you going with?
I'm gonna be honest with you, James. I really want to say Texas. I really do.
Ugh.
But being the true Texas hater that I am, I can't. So I'm going to say Penn State.
Okay. I also got Penn State, man. All right. I think this is the year for James Franklin. I think, I saw this crazy clip yesterday that some guy was like, if he doesn't win the national championship, he's on the hot seat. And I'm like, can we stop? I don't know. Maybe you agree with that assessment, but I'm like, I know college football has changed, but it took some of the greats in an era where you really had to win 2 tough games a year.
Yeah.
It took Bobby Bowden 23 years to win a title. It took Osborne 22, Paterno 16. Nick Saban had to go to a different school. There's coaches who they coached at other schools and they had to work their way up. Like, it takes a long time to win a national championship. Not everyone can be born on third base like Ryan Day.
Yeah. No,
right? Let's be honest. Ryan Day was born on third base, walking into what he walked into at Ohio State. So I think Penn State's going to have a great year. I do think they will win the national championship if I had to pick it today, but if they don't, they would be stupid to fire him.
Yeah, so I'm in the camp of I believe that he might be on the hot seat if they don't win it. That doesn't mean I agree with it.
Jeez.
I'm more in the camp of I think some boosters are frustrated because
Sure.
he probably should have won one by now. He's had teams that were good enough and didn't coach him over the hump.
So what if, Alex, Nebraska has a tremendous year and they go to the playoff and Penn State doesn't win a national championship? Do their boosters come after Matt Rule? That's where I was going.
100% they do. 100% they do.
Would Matt Rule take that job?
Ooh. So it's really hard for me to answer that question. You and I have not had this conversation.
I didn't expect to bring this. I didn't expect to bring this up today.
Yeah. So, and I can expand on it on a later episode, but I have a theory, James, that I don't think Matt Rule wins a conference or a natty at Nebraska. I think he gets them back. Like, short version of this is I think every coach has a ceiling. I think every program has a ceiling, and I think they have a ceiling together. I think Matt Rule's ceiling at Nebraska prevents them from getting to that level.
Okay.
Because of how far back behind they've been.
Sure.
But I think he lays the groundwork really well for the next guy to do it.
Okay.
I also have been in the camp of I think Matt Rule is an 8-year guy at Nebraska max.
All right.
So I hope I'm wrong, but that's just kind of the camp I live in.
All right, you're on record. So he's got this year and then 5 more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we need to talk about that again because I haven't given that much thought. I'd love for the guy to be here for 25 years, and if he gave us one title in 25 years, I'm sure I'd be happy. But
I just think we're in an era where 10 plus years doesn't exist anymore outside of a few programs and places, a few coaches.
Yeah. You're probably right.
So
you're probably right. It would be hard for him, The phrase that was thrown around when Scott Frost came here was, when mama comes calling, you go home. And it would be hard for him to get that call and not go. But the one thing that I think about is, well, he just observed what happened to Scott Frost when he came home and it didn't work out. Does he want to risk that? There probably is a part of you that wants to always view your alma mater with rose-colored glasses. So great. I love the school. I love playing football. I love playing for Coach Paterno. I love Happy Valley. I can go there and, people remember me as a walk-on who had a chip on my shoulder and then made it as a coach. Do you want to potentially lose some of that or all of it? I think that's a big consideration.
Great way to frame that.
So, but we'll leave that for another episode. So, all right. Well, we'll call it quits there. I can't wait to see what happens. Next week, we get to talk about a football game.
Yes, we do.
It's going to be awesome. Nebraska.
A real football game.
A real football game in Kansas City in an NFL stadium against Cincinnati. What a game it's going to be. And I have found out this week, Alex, and actually all summer, that Cincinnati has a few football fans. There's like 6 of them. And they love to talk trash.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Bring it on. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you listening. This has been so good. We're all ready for football. We'll see you next time. Go Big Red.